They're the best
I'm
questions
gonna have
ever.
to go on CP24 again. If I have a theme again, I'll bite his ear off. I'll smash its head in.
This is secret right here.
Call me a rapist on live TV. No, I don't appreciate that. I don't. It's disrespectful.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Up Real Late podcast. We are on episode 20 this week. Wow, I'm surprised we got to 20. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tim McGavick. What's up, Tim?
Not a whole lot. I'm pretty tired.
Oh, well, get hyped.
Don't worry. Let's get hyped.
Get excited. Also here, Tyler Spitolsky.
Hello.
What's up, Ty?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Oh, nice to have you, as usual. Also here, Adam Franey. What's going on, Adam? You excited?
Yeah.
You look kind of mad.
You're kind of fumed up right now. What's going on?
No, I'm not. No.
Not at all. Okay.
Just a day in the life of a Raptor fan.
Fair enough.
They lost. Spoiler alert. I'm pissed.
I'm pissed too. It's okay. We
hurts my heart.
feel your pain. Let's just run down a couple topics we're going to talk about today. As usual, we're going to do our last scene, last movie that we saw. And we're also going to review a movie called Room this week, starring Brie Larson. So we're going to get into that later. And we're also going to do a couple news topics. Doug Liman possibly directing Gambit. Neill Blomkamp's next project. And also some rewrites on Aqua-man happening. Tyler, you got something to say.
I do. Hold on. Do you say we're reviewing Room?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sure it's not The Room?
Oh,
not Room.
Rookie mistake.
Like Brie Larson, not Taika Waititi's The Room.
Classic error.
Okay.
Not the
Classic
Room.
Tyler mix-up.
So I did not see this then.
Shit.
You know what? I'll use my points from The Room anyway, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's roll with that.
Yeah.
Also, just a reminder to you guys out there, if you do want to skip to any of the topics that I just mentioned, you can go into the description box below on YouTube and click on any of the timestamps and skip to any of the topics. So yeah, I think with that, we'll move into our last scenes. Anyone want to start us off this week?
I'll do it. It's going to be a quick one.
Gonna be quick. Eh?
As you guys know, I started a new job this week, and I was very
Congratulations.
busy.
I feel like you're
It's
setting
not
up
an
for some sort of
excuse.
excuse here.
Don't
It's not an
care.
excuse. I did not get to watch a last scene.
Feels like a pretty big excuse.
So I'm going to review a movie I saw a couple weeks ago for the first time
Wow.
that I did not review on this podcast here.
You didn't even? Did you mention it at all, or
I mentioned to you guys. You guys know what movie it is.
Oh,
Fair.
shit.
Okay.
I watched the 1997 film Princess Mononoke.
All right.
Written
I like that.
and
I like
directed
that.
by Hayao Miyazaki, who is crazy good. I think the week before I watched Porco Rosso, which is also a good one, not as good.
Can I say my joke with Crimson Peak and Porco Rosso?
Oh yeah, this is a joke from Adam. Let's hear it.
I thought it would be really funny because he watched Crimson Pig the day after Crimson Peak, and I was like, Tim, what are you doing? Did you know Porco Rosso is Japanese for Crimson Pig? So like Ty's tie-in, Crimson Pig, Crimson
Porco Rosso, like that's
Pig.
isn't that Italian?
It's Japanese.
It's
It
Japanese.
means Crimson Pig. Kill yourself.
Porco is Japanese. Wow.
That's what I heard. I have no idea.
Interesting. 'Cause he plays an Italian pig, right?
Maybe it's Italian. I don't know.
I haven't watched the movie, so I can't.
Scott, that's rude.
Wow. I'm sorry.
I did Italian pig.
No, I'm kidding. He's a complete swine.
Oh my
Anyways,
god.
So this
Princess
movie,
Mononoke.
cursed by a beast, Ashitaki leaves his village to find a cure. He soon finds himself caught in between a civil war between the animal forest gods and a mining town. Things get more complicated when Ashitaki meets San, a human on the side of the forest gods. The American voice cast, which is the one I watched the dub version.
Good man.
I did not.
Stars.
I have watched this.
Really?
I watched the Japanese with
The
the
voice
subtitles.
cast. Listen to this.
What are you?
Billy Crudup,
Oh shit.
Minnie Driver, Billy Bob Thornton, Claire Danes, Gillian Anderson, Keith David, John DiMaggio, who did Bender and Jake from Finn and Jake
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
from Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Adventureland? Adventure
Lost
Time?
on
I haven't watched that show in forever.
Adventure.
Yeah.
And Jada
Adventure
Pinkett
Time.
Smith.
What?
Wow.
Finish it.
Finish it. This was a very, very, very good movie.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as animated movies go, this is like
This is one of the best I've
up
seen.
there.
This is like a heavy 4 reels for me.
Just diving right into it.
Just
A few things that
dropping
stuck out.
bombs.
It gets extremely violent, which I did not expect. Like, I thought, because I watched Porco Rosso, which is very, like, over the top and cartoony and childish. This movie, decapitations, limbs
Arrow
flying
deaths.
off,
Yeah.
crazy violent. I'm like, holy shit!
Chopping
I was
off
just like,
arms.
it happened within the first like 20 minutes. So the first 20 minutes is like, it's not slow, like a slow start, like
It is pretty.
it's
I'd
pretty
say
good pace. But as soon as
just
it happened, I was like, holy shit! It's not what I thought it was.
Really?
Reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have, I'm going to nerd out on you a bit here.
Oh,
There's
gosh.
a comic book series called Bone.
bone.
Nope.
It's about these 3 like
Nerd alert.
bone-looking characters.
Yes.
And the story is about them going to like this mythical land with like creatures, and there's like this war going on between this tiny village and like these gods that
in
live
high
in
school-
forests.
We went to the same high school. In high school, there was in the library they had Bone.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like
In
2,000 pages.
Yeah.
I own it, and it's fantastic.
You're a real boner.
Yeah, I was to say, well, I was in the library and getting bone all the time. It wasn't like you nerds were doing.
You were
You
getting Bone?
wish.
The other thing that
That turned around pretty
That
quickly. on
backfired
you.
very quickly. I didn't like
the other
that
thing that's
one
cool
bit.
is that apparently the new Zelda game for
Get
the
Bone.
Wii U. This is me nerding out even further.
Good.
Tim, we don't like nerds.
Draws a
We're
lot
cool.
of influence from this. You can even tell from like the garb that Link's wearing in the trailers for the new Zelda game. Looks a lot like the garb that Ashitaki wears throughout this whole thing. It's like blue and red and white pants and stuff. Pretty sweet.
Interesting.
Really cool stuff going on. Great world building. The gods are like giant animals. So like the god is like a giant wolf, and there's like a giant boar who gets like corrupted by this.
Giant boar god,
Yeah, it's crazy.
demigod, force
It's
god
weird.
thing.
It's messed up, but great.
I always liked how like even the characters that are you would normally think would be bad, like the humans that are fighting the forest gods. You think it would be
Yeah.
like Stephen Lang in Avatar or something, like just like evil, like you don't
Yeah.
see his side really.
But you do.
Like you see the side in
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke, like
Yeah. And
you-
so
you
does
understand.
Ashitaki. Like he's torn between like which side does he go with, right?
like he's a human.
Yeah.
Like he thinks he should be helping the humans, but then when he's to help the humans, he's like fighting against the forest gods. But he's like he doesn't understand like
Yeah.
why would I fight the forest? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, exactly.
It's very tough.
It's very good.
I just
Have you
wanted
seen
to-
this? Have you seen Princess Mononoke?
I was gonna say, the things like single-handedly stopping me from doing a top 10 animated movies of all time list is the fact I have not seen Princess Mononoke. So I really want to see it.
Yeah.
And it, I don't know, it looks amazing.
Visually
Very good.
great. The animation is
yeah.
fantastic.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I gotta see it.
The animation was crazy, guys.
It was
was
crazy.
There's something that actually is pretty cool.
Oh, you've seen
I don't
it, Tyler.
know
It was
if
crazy.
you remember the scene, Scott, where he's walking through the forest and he's being guided through the forest with like those little like light creatures.
Yeah, that's
Reminds me
weird.
a lot of like the stuff that happens in Brave.
They're
You've seen
like-
Brave, where like she follows
They're like shaking.
like those little wisps through the
I
forest.
haven't seen Braves.
Okay, she follows wisps into the forest. Anyways, pretty cool stuff.
Sounds
Loved
like
it.
the fairies
Loved
from
it.
Zelda. Listen!
Listen, hey.
Hey!
Anyways,
They were really weird. Those weirded me out though.
yeah,
Those
they're
weird,
creepy looking. They're like little
They
like
look like weird.
they have like big
aborted
white
fetuses.
heads, little
That's
skinny white
disgusting.
bodies, and they're like shaking and like gyrating like these weird movements. It's
The
messed up.
like shaking.
Wow.
Wow, interesting. So and that was you gave it heavy 4.
Heavy 4.
Heavy 4
Heavy four.
reels? Why not a 5? Any, just
What brought you down?
not a masterpiece, I guess. For,
I don't know. It could be a
For Tim,
Could be a
it's-
5 banger. Actually.
No, you know a 5 banger.
Yeah,
there's gotta be
no
something.
ifs, ands,
It
or
is
buts.
long. It's like
Is it?
2.5 hours. It's the longest animated movie that I'm aware of.
It is quite long.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow.
I would concur with this.
but it didn't like drag by. I don't know. Really good. Really, really good.
All right.
Check it out.
Anyone else want to jump in with their last scenes?
I'll go.
All right.
Tyler, you
Well,
wanna?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Ty.
This was a light week for me.
Oh God.
So
late.
this is a movie I've actually wanted to watch for. Actually, it's been close to a year now.
So before we made that list for you.
Yes, before the list.
Oh,
okay.
God, this is not gonna be a good
This
one.
is pre-list.
Yeah, whole
Yeah.
Pre-listing right now.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 5.
Ty's going off his
So
own
way before. Yeah.
list.
I'm going on my own
It's gonna
path
get
here.
greasy, folks.
Okay. Dave Skylark and his producer Aaron Rappaport are the team behind a popular tabloid TV show, Skylark Tonight. After learning that North
I
Korea's
mentioned this tonight.
after learning that North Korea's Kim Jong-un is a huge fan of the show, they successfully set up an interview with him, hoping to legitimize themselves as actual journalists. However, Dave and Aaron prepare for their journey to Pyongyang. The CIA steps
Nailed
in.
it.
Thank you. Recruits them and assigns them an incredible mission: assassinate the dictator.
I can't believe you watched the interview.
So, just so you guys know, after the first sentence of me reading, all three members of the podcast immediately sunk their faces into either a couch,
Facepalm.
a chair, or their own hand
Epic face.
in such disbelief and disapproval.
You literally have like 4 pages of movies.
Classic, amazing film.
I don't know. This
To
one,
watch.
this one just jumped at me.
So tell us about the interview. Did you like
Before
it?
I start, have any of you seen the interview?
I've seen it.
You have? Okay, good.
I've seen it also.
You have seen it, Tim?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, you haven't seen it, Tim?
No.
It's okay, you didn't miss
The
anything.
one thing you should know
It
about
was
me
a
by
big
now
deal.
is that if
I
I
don't
don't
know. Why
have
would you
interest in
see
the
it?
movie, I
No.
don't see it.
Tim's favorite phrase. You haven't seen that, Tim? Why would I see that?
Yeah,
Pacific Rim. Why would I see robots punching shit?
Yeah.
I don't care.
exactly.
Giant monsters and robots attacking each other? That sounds horrible.
Big,
What did you think about it, Ty?
You know what? I'm going to
A
start.
lot of controversy around this film.
Huge amount of controversy.
At the time.
And yeah, at the time. Right now, no one actually gives a shit about it anymore. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. I think that had to do with the publicity that it got. I think that since this movie was just so hated.
It was hyped up.
Yeah, and it was hyped up, and then immediately people started hating it just because
It
of.
finally came out. It
Yeah.
wasn't that well received.
And so I think that had a lot to do with it. It was, don't get me wrong, it was not. It was a shitty movie. It wasn't a good movie by any means, but I don't think it was as bad as everyone said it was.
Yeah, like when I watched it, like I honestly maybe cracked a smile like once.
There was a few.
I didn't laugh out loud once.
There were once or twice when I laughed. That was like there was the one scene with the tiger. I thought that was hilarious.
See, I watched it a year ago.
Yeah, it's not memorable. No.
I just remember Kim Jong Un like singing Katy Perry. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. Katy Perry. Yeah, firework comes on a couple times.
Baby, you're fine.
Yeah.
Spoiler
you
alert.
work. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like the worst.
So, directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Starring James Franco, Seth Rogen, Lizzie Kaplan, Randall Park, Diana Bang, and a few cameos.
And like I could tell, like the guy, I forget who his name was. You just mentioned who played Kim Jong Un.
Randall Park.
Randall Park.
Like he's American, right?
From Wolf of Wall Street.
So like he doesn't. He was giving a fake accent the whole time.
Yeah.
Like why not just get someone like I don't know? It just sounded. It was just so fake.
Yeah.
Well, North
I mean,
Korea is known for their actors.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I just couldn't get over that. Like it was just like American trying to do a Korean accent. It was just so bad.
Kim
Yeah.
Jong-un probably would have done this movie had they approached him the right way.
Yeah.
They should have just let Dennis Rodman go
Yeah.
in there.
Dennis Rodman be a liaison between
Yeah,
them
for
and
sure.
film some scenes there.
But yeah, so like not an amazing movie, but I don't think it was as shitty as everyone. You guys still look very disappointed.
It's a 1.5 maybe for me.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Who's
1.
who's the cast other than Franco and Rogen? Is there any other?
That's really it. Lizzie Kaplan, Diana Bang, who I don't know, and
Is Lizzie Kaplan the girl from Cloverfield?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who looks like Zooey Deschanel.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, the
Kind of.
uglier version.
I think Lizzie
Sorry
Kaplan's
for listening,
gorgeous.
Lizzie. I don't.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
How would you rate?
I'm gonna
the
give
interview?
this.
This almost started a war.
This did. Yeah, like
Bombs were almost dropped
Yeah.
over this.
Yeah,
Over this movie.
Was there extra security at the theaters, or they pulled it from theaters or something?
It got pulled from theaters for like a little bit, and then they decided to release it.
They released
and
it
I think it
anyway.
did pretty well at the box office because a bunch of Americans were like, "I'm not allowed to watch this movie.
I'm gonna.
Oh.
Go,
Fuck that! I'm watching this movie."
yeah.
This is America.
Yeah, I can't see this movie. I'm gonna go watch it. And, like so that was a huge thing as
I
well.
love that. Like,
This was also in the midst of the Sony hacks
Yeah,
as well from last
how
year.
great is it that a Canadian, Seth Rogen, nearly got America?
and that was a
war.
huge thing. That's what pissed off a lot of Canadians. Was like, man, we're so neutral. What the fuck is Seth Rogen doing?
He's gone rogue.
Yeah. So I think they tried.
That's
Like
good.
it wasn't.
because clearly Seth was trying to start a world war.
Yeah.
He wasn't just doing a movie.
It wasn't just...
This maniacal laugh. Seth, what are you doing?
Just
Start a war?
just laughing.
Maniacal laughter right there. I'm gonna give this a light 2.
Oh.
Were
Yeah.
you influenced by our
Yikes.
discontent with your choice? Or
I'm right
Yeah, 'cause
there.
we were pretty excited, and then we didn't
like
seem very
two.
happy. And
No. This
got
like I said,
depressed.
this movie wasn't a good movie at all.
okay,
But it wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be. So that yeah.
I thought it was pretty bad, but yeah.
Yeah. So don't see it. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it was just like a nothing for me.
Yeah.
I was pretty hyped. And I love Seth Rogen. It was just kind of a letdown. It was, just like,
It was right around Christmas last year that I was thinking like, should I go see it? Should I not go see it? Am I going to get bombed for going to see it? I don't know. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to see it. 11 months later, I saw it.
I'm not gonna get-
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You finally knocked it out.
I did.
Anyone want to jump in with their last
I'm
scene?
making huge
Adam?
strides on my list here.
You know what?
Did-
I'll jump in.
our
you
memory
sure?
banks are not ready, so
Memory
Yeah, I
banks
can't
are not...
remember my last scene yet.
Yeah.
Boot up the banks.
Booting. I'm
So-
remembering.
My last scene, ironically...
Holy shit.
I'll just list it off here.
Okay.
I'll give you the synopsis here. A Victorian surgeon rescues a heavily disfigured man who is mistreated while scraping a living as a sideshow freak. Behind his monstrous facade, there is revealed a person of intelligence and sensitivity. Adam.
I am not a monster animal. Fuck. Animal.
Animal.
I'm not an
I'm
animal.
a man.
Good one too.
David
The
Lynch.
Elephant Man, directed by David Lynch.
Yeah.
Came out October 10th, 1980. Adam is losing it probably because we talked about this today. We went out for lunch
Son
today.
of a bitch.
And I was telling him, because I also watched Eraserhead this week,
Which we really thought was going to be your last scene.
another David Lynch film, and we were talking about Elephant Man, and I kind of sidestepped it. Oh yeah, Elephant Man, I haven't seen that. I did. Boom. So yeah, like I said, directed by David Lynch, starring John Hurt as the title Elephant Man.
Did he die?
AKA John Merrick. Did he die?
Mm-hmm.
John Hurt?
Yeah.
Does he? Is that
Did you know,
his name?
he's the leading actor in deaths in his movies.
No.
Yeah, ahead of Sean Bean. Sean Bean's
Ahead
number
of
2.
Really?
Sean
He's-
Bean.
Sean Bean's number 2.
Wow.
Yeah, John Hurt's number 1.
That's true.
That's what I was asking.
John Hurt. This little tidbit in Alien. The alien comes out of him in the first Alien.
It's that guy.
That's that guy. So get ready.
He's also played a crazy old man in the last
12 movies.
12 movies he's been in.
There's not a lot of roles for older men, I guess.
It's
Plays-
him and Alan Arkin, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Also starring Anthony Hopkins, who if I remember correctly, was nominated for
Yeah,
the
he's old,
Academy
too.
Award for Best Supporting Actor. And John Hurt was nominated for Best Actor also in this.
I have to see this movie.
Also starring Anne Bancroft and a few other actors there. Yeah, this movie was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, a whole bunch of things, as well as the acting and some other cinematography awards. I think it was 8 in total. It was nominated
Who gives a shit
for.
about cinematography? Just skip it.
Yeah, David Lynch. It's I've seen a few other David Lynch films: Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, Elephant Man, but Eraserhead this week, and Eraserhead was just full Lynch, like insane, psychedelic dreams.
Still doesn't have a rating. I believe 3 days later from Scott on Letterboxd. That's how fucked it is. Apparently.
I think you described it to me as Mulholland Drive on acid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's- I don't even know how that's possible.
That's insane. I thought
Tim, have
I
you
was
seen?
on acid when
Have
I
you
saw
seen
Mulholland.
Eraserhead?
Yeah, I know. It still freaks me out.
Yeah, but I saw it years ago. I don't really remember it that well.
Okay.
I get that and Pie mixed up a lot for some reason. Because they're both black and white and
Well, one's a food.
Pie from Darren Aronofsky.
I'll be here all week, folks. Thank you.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. They're not similar, but they're just black and white with a weird main character, and I just get those movies
That's fair.
confused.
Well, Elephant Man. I was talking about Eraserhead real quick. Just the visuals in that is just crazy, and I expected something in Elephant Man, but no. Although there was one scene where he has a nightmare,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, Lynch, he had to have a nightmare scene, and the visuals in that were great, full, surrealist visuals, really great way of doing dreams.
I would venture to say there's no one better at the dream sequence than David Lynch. I think he's obsessed with dreams, just in general.
for sure.
Like I think he's mastered the art of the dream sequence.
In every one of his films, there's some weird dream
In
sequence.
Twin Peaks, dreams play heavily into the story.
In our conversation
that's one
today,
Lynch film I haven't seen.
Yeah,
Or TV series.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Coming
there's
back.
a film.
It's coming back.
I'm not sure if that was that a pilot. I'm not sure the details behind it. Was
The
it a
movie?
pilot?
Wait,
Yeah.
No, the movie is filmed and takes place
Did it come out after the series came
after
out?
the series, but it's a
It
prequel
was a
to the
prequel.
series.
Okay, that's what it is.
Prequel / sequel.
And they're rebooting that.
There's 18 episodes coming out next year.
Oh wow! Is it Kyle MacLachlan? Is he coming back or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
get hype. Have you seen Twin Peaks?
No, I've heard of it. I want to watch it, but I haven't seen it though.
Shout out to the Film Vault quickly. Anderson and Brian bring up a good point about this movie that you saw. This is probably like him doing his most Hollywood movie. Like this is his most approachable movie by far, and
Definitely.
it shows because it's gone up for a bunch of Oscars, right? Like
It's incredibly talked about.
It's the most like friendly movie that he's done.
I was doing some research on this, and of course he started off doing Eraserhead, which is very out there, very experimental film.
Fucked.
And it got a lot of people talking about it in the film industry. And I think I'm not sure who it was who was originally going to do this. I'll look it up real quick. But they were shopping like Elephant Man as like a script, like it was around, and they asked David Lynch to do it. Let me see here if I can figure out. I'll get back to it. But anyway, so like this wasn't like Lynch's idea. Like, oh, I need to like do an Elephant Man movie and go like all surrealist. It was someone came to him and asked him to do it
Approached it and then he
because they
adapted it?
liked the Eraserhead.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we want you to do Elephant Man. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. Because he'd only really done a small, low-budget film,
Mhm.
and this was his way. I mean, he had, Anthony Hopkins in there and everything. So
Was this his like Insomnia, like comparing him to Nolan? Like Nolan had following.
yeah, I guess.
And then
Although that didn't
studio
get
was
nominated for 8 Academy Awards. I do want to say,
Probably
like,
no, yeah, exactly.
in talking about Elephant Man, about the actual movie itself, I haven't really talked about.
Sure.
I really enjoyed it. Like, it was
Oh, yeah,
great. John Hurt, crazy. It took him 8 hours to get his makeup on. Insane. And 2 hours to take it off. I mean, that's crazy. But his performance, covered in all that makeup, like, just insane. Yet, it felt like I understand why he got nominated for an Academy Award. Like,
So you didn't win?
I fell for it. I didn't win any Academy Awards.
Ouch.
Nominated in 8 categories, but no wins.
Yeah, this was also a big reason why they came up with Best Makeup Academy Award, which was
Really?
not a regular
Right, yeah.
award prior to this.
What year was this filmed?
1980.
1980.
Special makeup was like a special reward that they just like handed out for like
Like off the air.
yeah,
Wow.
or like I don't think it even had like yearly things. Just whenever a movie had good like really good makeup, they would like give it an award, but it wasn't like a regular category.
I was pretty blown away to find out it was John Hurt as Elephant Man. Because like growing up, I've seen clips of this movie, and I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
you can't tell it's him at all.
You can't tell it's him. I mean,
Wow.
in the way he talks, like, when I know that it's John Hurt, I can hear
Now
John
you
Hurt.
can hear it. Okay.
But if I didn't know John Hurt, I might not have guessed that it was him. But overall, the performances were great. Anthony Hopkins was really good. I also like Lynch's, the way he shot it in the beginning, how they don't really reveal what he looks like in the beginning.
Mhm.
And there's a scene where Anthony Hopkins is sort of, he's a doctor who sort of takes him under his wing, because originally he was in a circus, like as a circus freak, and then Anthony Hopkins is like, this guy has it, he needs to be taken into a hospital, like be taken care of. So then he takes him under his wing, and he's showing him to his other associates, the other doctors in the hospital, and you don't see him. It's like it's just a silhouette, and he's describing all the problems that he has, like tumors and like all this issues with bone structure and everything, but they don't show him. Like, it's just all a silhouette from behind. I think that was really well shot, that they didn't just go out and just like boom, like there he is, and they left it a bit of a mystery, and I just like the way that was shot. Yeah, overall, definitely recommend it. Ty, you have a
I'm perusing the memory banks here,
okay?
and is there some sort of adaptation that's done with Bradley Cooper?
Yeah,
Like,
he
was
did a
gonna
stage
say-
play.
a stage play of it.
Yeah,
Okay, because he looks nothing like.
he does a really good voice actually.
It looks just like Bradley Cooper. Like they did like nothing to him.
What do you? Can I? You have a picture?
I was gonna bring that up actually,
Bring a picture
because
up
the
there.
adaptation starring Bradley Cooper on Broadway, guess who directed it?
David
someone-
Lynch.
Someone by the name of Scott Ellis.
Really?
What?
I am not even kidding.
You're a director?
That is my name. I directed that.
Wow. Huge
But
news.
That's pretty
You don't
crazy,
think we
right?
could have brought that up earlier? Oh, okay. His hand's kind of messed up, I guess.
Well, funny story at TIFF. Older European woman saw Bradley Cooper on Broadway as Elephant Man. And was like raving.
Oh, yeah.
She said after the show, he does no makeup. He just contorts his face and his hands. And after the show, he couldn't shake her hand because his hand was numb from having contorted fingers for like 3 hours.
I remember that.
And his hand was like blue and like bloodshot and just like permanently fucked.
Permanently
wild.
temporary messed up.
Yeah, permanently, temporarily
Yeah.
fucked.
But yeah, overall for me, I mean, I give it 4 out of 5 reels.
Just a
I really
solid
liked it.
4.
Yeah, solid. I didn't like love it. I mean, it's I don't know. It didn't quite do it for me, but I still really enjoyed it. Like 4 out of 5.
pretty-
I mean, it was a great film. Yeah, I mean, you really feel for the guy in the movie, like all the stuff he's been through, and you can't even imagine living through that and having to experience the world through what he had to deal with. So I just, overall, really well done. Adam, let's move over to you. What was the last movie you saw?
Well, folks, I think I may have the greasiest last scene of
Really?
the episode. I know. Weird, right?
Like,
Greasier than me doing one from 2 weeks ago.
Season 5, season finale of Walking Dead.
Yes, I did watch season
Not
5
season 6,
of
season
Walking
5.
Dead this week. But no, that won't be it. It's a film I guarantee none of you have seen.
Guarantee.
That's a good.
And I think you've only heard of it from seeing it on my Netflix queue. I'm referring to Angel Heart.
yeah, never heard of it.
I'm looking
Still-
at reactions.
Still no.
Ty's never heard of it. Scott has no clue
I probably
what
saw
I'm
it on your
talking
Netflix
about.
queue, but
I know the title.
Tim knows the title.
Yeah.
From his
Written and
Netflix
directed
queue.
by Alan Parker, who hasn't done a film since 2003.
Mm.
So the grease continues.
Busy.
That bodes well.
He
bodes well.
most well known for Mississippi Burning, which he wrote and directed,
Don't know.
starring Robert De Niro, Mickey Rourke, Lisa Bonet, and Charlotte Rampling, I believe. The plot synopsis goes as follows. Harry Angel is a private investigator. He's hired by a man who calls himself Louis Cypher to track down a singer called Johnny Favorite, but the investigation takes an unexpected and somber turn.
Sounds great.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's great.
I remember this poster.
What year was this made, Tim?
This was 1987.
Yeah.
87.
I knew it was 80s because, my God, it is like a 80s noir through and through. It opens with just a shot of the New York streets and like a saxophone. This saxophone
Sax
score.
solo?
Yeah, sax solo just bellowing out. And Mickey Rourke, unrecognizable. Like, the movie opens on his face and he literally looks like a different person.
He was pretty gorge back in the day.
Yeah, so I'm assuming better than he looks
He was
now.
a Bruce Willis
He's a human.
lookalike back in the day.
Yeah, he was very Bruce Willis-esque.
He was svelte back in the day.
Svelte.
It's a shame what's happened to his face.
That's word of the episode now.
He got punched one too many times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not even kidding. That's literally.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
literally
that's
what
what it
happened.
was.
He was a
Yeah.
boxer. That is true. It was just extremely like within the noir genre.
Just
like
more. Yeah.
it's set in the 50s. You know, Mickey Rourke is like this. He's got the trench coat with the collar popped, smoke always hanging out of his mouth, toothpick. He's doing like the the New York like typical detective like. So, sweet cheeks, what's that? Okay, you say you seen this singer Johnny Favorite anywhere, huh? Can you tell me about him, man? He's like doing
Classic.
just like completely over the top New York detective. And yeah, it's I enjoyed Angel Heart, but it's not the greatest, as you can tell, because it's like a forgotten movie with Robert De Niro and Mickey Rourke. Those are two big stars still to this day.
Yeah.
And it was just I will say the plot took it to something that was very unexpected. There's a big twist, and like it's not a spoiler. What I'm about to say, his investigation takes him down to New Orleans because he finds out that like that's where he's a PI obviously, and this singer used to like frequent the bars down in New Orleans. And there's this huge side plot to do with like a voodoo cult of like New Orleans people.
Typical. You go to New Orleans, voodoo. right?
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen in real life, I think.
Live and let die, basically.
Reminded me a lot of Shutter Island, because when he's down there, he's getting these like visions.
Shutter Island?
Yeah, because it's a PI searching for a missing person, and then he goes into a new environment he's not used to and starts getting like horrific visions. And there's a huge twist where you're just like, okay, what's going on here? Like, not referring to the twist, but throughout the movie, you're just like, is this...
So he's actually a voodoo priest that's like under, like it's...
Well, you're like, is this supernatural? Is he insane? Like, what's happening here? It's pretty much the movie's like a parallel to Shutter Island. I'll put it that way. Obviously not as good. There's no Leo D in this movie.
He would have been pretty young.
Yeah, he would have been like 20 or something. I don't know. My math's brutal.
A little fuzzy.
Yeah. Robert De Niro, plays the character Louis Cypher, very subtly named. He's got
Cypher.
like
a
nice man bun, like long fingernails, big old beard on him, a cane, and he's doing this very like calculated, "Hello, Mr. Harold. Pleasure to see you. Sit down. I'd like to hire you to do a little investigation for me." He's like trying to do this like almost British accent, and couple that with Mickey Rourke like, "Hey, I tell you, Mr. Louis, I don't know about you. You're a weird guy. I'm from Brooklyn." Like, that's like his catchphrase. That's his catchphrase, yeah.
Oh my god.
It wasn't bad.
They're in a church, and Robert De Niro's like doing the Mr. Burns with his like swindle hands. Like, "Tell me, Mr. Harold, are you religious?" "No, Louis, I'm from Brooklyn."
Wow.
"That answers your question, eh?" And he like
That
flicks
doesn't.
flicks a toothpick
That
at him.
actually answers nothing.
Yeah.
Chewing on a toothpick the whole time.
It's definitely a thick layer of cheese, but I don't know. Overall, I would say it's probably worth a watch. Lisa Bonet, full nude scene. So,
Nice.
that alone. Plus, couple that with Robert De Niro's beard and man bun. You kidding me?
It's worth a watch right there.
We're looking at a heavy 2. I'm so sorry, Mickey Rourke. Forgive me. I know you could find me and kill me. Who knows? You're psychotic. But...
It kind of reminds me of, I saw the Pope of Greenwich Village months ago, which is another Mickey Rourke film. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
I thought you meant you literally saw, like, there's a Pope of Greenwich Village
No.
and you saw him.
It's just an old Mickey Rourke, like, where he's just on the streets, like...
Did you agree he's unrecognizable?
Yeah, like, it's crazy. It's like a mid-'80s thing with Eric Roberts, like, right after he, like, was nominated for an Academy Award or whatever, back in the early 80s.
Whoa. A lot has changed.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, Mickey Rourke was a totally different person back then.
It's insane.
He was starring in all these movies that, and you never hear about those movies anymore. It was all like
Yeah, like this is what I'm like, holy crap, Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro, like this must have been a huge movie, and no, it's just like a forgotten nothing.
It's like Liam Neeson like Walk Among the Tombstones or something, like something like that. You know what I mean? Like you'll never hear about that movie.
Did you guys hear that Liam Neeson just did a new action movie called Walk Among the Tombstones? No.
Is it like his last 7?
Yeah.
I know Taken 1 through 7.
Yeah.
There's
or
also
like the November Man or something, Pierce Brosnan, was like he was James Bond.
Okay, I saw that.
Doesn't surprise me.
You fucking kidding?
I thought that was a Liam Neeson movie, November Rain?
November Man.
November Man, yeah. That's what I said. Getting back to...
Which was later followed by Survivor Man, also starring Pierce Brosnan and Mila Jovovich. No one saw that either.
Survivor Man?
Survivor Man.
With Les Stroud?
That's what I thought of instantly. I was like, Les Stroud
you know, like Bear Grylls, similar. Like
okay. No,
Les...
it wasn't.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, Angel Heart. I did want to say, how many of you have seen Chinatown?
Yeah.
I've seen it, yeah.
You know, Tyler? Have you seen
No.
No.
Is that on your list?
I don't know, which one is this one?
Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. It's like a classic noir.
No, it's not. Should
it's
it
like
be?
the king of noir films. Yeah.
So I'm assuming yes, it should be.
Write it down right now. Mickey Rourke gets a pair of shades in this movie with like a white nose guard.
So it looks like he has like the white.
So he's literally many scenes doing Jack Nicholson Chinatown homage, aka rip off.
Classic.
And he's just like, "Hey kid, how are you?" And he's just like looking down at this little kid with a white nose cover. I'm just like, oh god. Tim's literally yawning in my face. Ruthless.
Get wrecked.
Let's wrap it up here, Adam.
Yeah, so... Yeah, fuck this movie. Continue.
All right. I think with that, we'll move on into our review of the week. And that is a movie called Room, starring Brie Larson, Jacob Tremblay, Joan Allen, Sean Bridgers, and William H. Macy.
Yeah.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah. Surprise! Directed by Lenny
Abramson.
This movie came out October 16th this year, by the way, apparently. I believe that's the limited release date.
Yeah.
Because it was only released wide, I think, last week.
It just came out to our hometown this week.
Yeah. So...
Shout out to Whippy.
Yeah.
Ontario, Canada.
It was playing.
Represent.
I believe it was playing at TIFF, and it won the People's Choice Award.
It did.
Which, if you guys know, maybe you made a note of that, Adam, to mention that, because I'm not sure if the last how it's worked out, but that's pretty much a lock for Best Picture nomination to win the People's Choice Awards.
I believe 4 of the last 5 Best Picture winners also won that.
Right.
So not just nomination, like they predict the winners.
So that in that case, it's probably a lock for nomination.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Should we say me and Tim actually made a bet? How much?
If you remember, listeners, we did it live.
An intro.
$10 bet. We'll get into that when we can talk about the movie.
We'll reveal what the bet is later.
We'll see whether you guys think it'll
well, the bet is
happen.
I bet it won't be up for Best Picture.
You bet it won't.
Won't
Adam
be nominated?
bet that it did.
And keep in mind,
it will be.
this was long before we
hadn't seen the movie at this point.
Okay, hold on. You said that you didn't even think it was going to be nominated?
That was what I said, yes.
And I bet that it will be nominated.
I had not seen the movie nor a trailer.
Nor had I.
Continue.
Ballsy!
Okay.
So the synopsis of this movie basically goes something like this.
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Good point.
Brie Larson plays this woman who was, it's not a spoiler, but she was kidnapped when she was 17, I believe, and put in a room. And now
not the room. A room.
She has a son.
She wasn't with Tommy Wiseau.
Played by Jacob Tremblay. And, it starts out and they're just trying to live, day to day. And, some things happen. We'll get into what happens in the story. But it's basically their story. Yeah, it's tough to get into it without spoiling much. Let's get into Room. What do we think of Room? Tim, let's start with you.
Spoiler free.
Adam, do you want your $10 now, or do you want to wait until this gets nominated for Best Picture?
Oh, damn!
Because I'm going to owe you $10.
Yeah.
Just give it to me right now,
Do you
please.
just want it now? I can grab my wallet if you want.
I'm broke. Tim,
this is for sure going to be up for Best Picture. I'm not going to hide the lead here at all.
Now,
fucking love this movie.
now $1 million question. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you think this has a chance of winning? You said it's going to be up. Do you think it's going to win?
We still haven't seen some movies that are...
There's some very strong contenders
So
that stuff that
hard
come
to
out.
say.
But
do you think it has
of
good
the
chances,
movies
though?
that would probably get nominated, I mean, Mad Max is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. That and Sicario. Sicario probably won't get nominated. I don't think. It's probably going to be one of those ones that get snubbed.
Like 11.
The amount
so
of
of the movies that
up
I've
there.
seen this year so far, this has the best chance of winning Best Picture, I think.
Okay.
Well, let's just say, I'll just throw some out. Danish Girl, Revenant, Bridge of Spies. These are like the... Spotlight. These are the quote-unquote locks to be nominated out of those. Nice. It's so hard to say when you haven't seen the other...
Yeah, we haven't, like, 3 of them are not even out yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think of Room?
Loved
if you
it.
haven't
Liked it.
Loved
given
it.
it away. Yeah.
Loved it.
Wow.
Yeah. Can I talk more about it?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Brie Larson will be nominated and probably win Best Actress.
Wow.
Jacob Tremblay should be nominated.
Best Supporting Actor?
That's what they're pushing for, but he's a lead actor, which annoys me because he'll get nominated for Best Supporting.
He is a lead actor.
He is a lead actor.
That's
weird.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what? If he shouldn't get... It shouldn't be Best Supporting. I think that's bullshit.
No, they're pushing him for that.
That doesn't make sense, though. How does that make sense?
They do that with like kid actors. They always get like
He's clearly
shuffled
the
off
lead.
to the
Doesn't
side,
make sense,
right?
He's the lead. Like, he's not supporting.
But then you
He's
look at like someone
leading.
like Anthony Hopkins,
What's the problem?
who won Best Lead Actor for Hannibal, and he's in that movie for like 12 minutes. the Oscars like weird how they judge things or like what they allow.
But you could argue he's the lead male character in that movie.
He is. He should be up for best lead actor, but he won't be. He'll be up for best supporting actor.
I'm gonna disagree.
Are you talking about Hannibal?
I was talking about Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is the lead male character.
I guess so, but he's not. That movie doesn't really have a lead male character, though. They have a supporting
Hannibal Lecter. But
okay, you're right.
I'm going to disagree with you, Tim. I'm going to say that this is her story. He is a very important part of her story, if not an equal. Like, he is very important to it. But I'm going to say this is her story.
So we get into
this is
whole
juicy.
problem again, where like
I disagree.
This is juicy. Let's get into it.
Again,
boys.
the whole problem here again is like, is it that person's story? Like Mad Max, is he the lead character in that story, or is it
That's
Charlize
another-
Theron's story?
Why
of
don't
Mad
we all,
Max
why don't we all
happens to
give
walk-
what we thought, and then we'll
Right.
get into like the juicy stuff of whose story it is.
Tyler,
So we know where Tim settles.
Yeah.
Loves it. Ooh,
Loves it.
Tyler, what did you think of
I didn't
Room?
think he'd love it.
Well,
Don't beat around the bush.
I didn't like it.
He's kidding. I
I'm
don't
not.
believe him. No.
I'm not kidding, and I'll tell you why. I thought that this was. I felt so distant from the characters because they didn't go into how she actually felt.
You related more with the kidnapper?
Well, that's the thing. We like that's part of my point. There's very little I can say about this before
kidding.
with spoilers and whatnot. But like, she kept like beating around the bush as to how she felt, and they never actually explained that. Like, obviously, you have to sympathize with these characters, and you feel bad for these characters.
For sure.
But you don't. She didn't actually say how she felt, or they didn't show the struggles that she was having. Like, don't get me wrong, she was upset and she was struggling with it, but then they explain what she was feeling.
Tim's losing it.
Tim is irate.
I totally disagree. This
Tim
is
is
the best episode ever.
Okay.
Holy shit! I can't wait to get
Yeah,
into
we
this
were not expecting. I was
discussions.
not expecting this much debate.
Okay.
Say maybe me and Scott will go, and then
Adam.
we'll get it. We'll
Yeah.
get into the meat.
Yeah.
I'm next.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
Movie shit. Don't give a fuck. No, I'm just kidding. I liked Room a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Liked it a lot. Did not love Room. Definitely wouldn't say I disliked it like Mr. Tyler here. It was good. It was I think there's no. I'm not sure about Best Picture. I don't know if it'll even be nominated. I don't know if I'd go that far as to say.
We're
You
like
made a
flipping
bet.
spots
You made
now?
a $10
Yeah, you guys are
bet.
flipping.
Yeah.
You made a
Holy
$10
shit.
How
bet.
fucked is this?
That's fucked.
I don't know if it'll be nominated, but I wish I made a bet on Brie Larson because I'll be shocked if anyone has a better performance than Brie Larson in this movie if she doesn't win Best Actress. Never mind, just get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
It's
She's a lock for nomination, guaranteed.
take into account, we've never even seen her with like more than 5 lines of dialogue in a movie, like in the
That's
Jump
true,
Street
yeah.
movies, in Trainwreck.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Short Term 12. Is she in it a
Very
lot?
good in that movie. Yeah,
Is she in it a lot?
Yeah, she's the main
character.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. Well, this I don't know. I think this is her coming out party, and she was just kind of like the cutesy, like funny girl, and the Academy loves like a transformation, like even physically, how she like has no makeup for all the portions of like for
Like, she's a
most of the
beautiful
movie.
woman, like, and in
Stunning.
this
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
she was...
She goes through a transformation.
Yeah.
She's looks like someone who's being held captive.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I thought it was actually beautifully shot. A lot of the scenes. We'll get into it after. I liked it a lot. I'll say. Should I save my negatives?
Yeah.
I do have some negatives.
Well, point it out now if you want.
Well, I thought the movie. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel. This might be blasphemous.
One of us is going to jump at you. So
Yeah, one of you.
Yeah.
The movie obviously hinders on you, like I'm supposed to feel like Brie Larson. I'm supposed to have this attachment to Jack, her son.
Mm-hmm.
And for about the first half of the movie, I found him really annoying. I didn't find his acting great. Like at the beginning, I found his voice just annoying. Like, "Mommy, did I shoot out of you like a miracle from heaven?" And just like,
Is that baby Mickey Rourke right there? He almost devolved into the Brooklyn accent there.
just like,
Hey, mommy!
"Hi, squirrel. You're from the real world."
Hey,
like,
Toots, did I jump
or
at
"Hi,
you?
mouse." Like, I don't know. I just found him like cringe and
You didn't buy it. You didn't buy
But I will say the second half, a lot of the emotional attachment was there. he did grow on me, but that is a big negative, that I didn't like love him all the way through the movie. And there's a few. I just had a few question marks about, like, we'll get into in spoilers, but the ending and maybe like what is this movie trying to say. I wasn't fully aware of like the message. I guess somewhat of what Tyler was saying. I wasn't fully aware of like the certain character motivations, and what is this character doing by doing this? Yeah. What does this serve to the plot? This action from this character. I have to speak very vague. There's a lot of spoiler.
I feel like I know who you're talking about,
yeah.
But I want to jump in. I feel like I'm not so high on this movie. I'm not so low on this like Tyler. I'm kind of
okay.
You hated it, dude.
No, I didn't.
You
I never
hated
said
it.
hate. I never once said hate.
You disliked it.
I did not. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. We got to go into spoilers.
That's fair,
Yeah.
All film is subjective, but
you're fucking wrong.
You're wrong.
Let me tell you why.
I'm kind of with you, Adam. I didn't love it. I liked a lot of it. I feel like, like you said, the cinematography was great. Performances obviously amazing. I feel like the issues I had with it was more like pacing, like in the second half. Like it kind of, I don't know. It just didn't hit me as hard as the first sort of half and into the second half.
It feels like it didn't carry on as much as it should have in the second half for me.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that means, but carry on. Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah. It's hard. But yeah, I'm trying to think here. Like, I mean, there's overall I liked it though. I liked it. I that's the thing. I can't come up with anything that I necessarily hated or that I necessarily loved about it. But overall, although I will say I kind of applaud the director for directing it in the way that he did, where in a lot of other movies they would have shown a lot. They would have shown the kidnapping. They would have shown a lot of other scenes.
Rape.
And which they didn't.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think was it Lenny Abramson. We love Frank. Me and Tim. Ty, have you seen it?
No.
Wow.
Scott?
He directed Frank.
Director of Frank.
Wow.
I think he has so much potential. Like, he's having like a breakout streak with Frank, and now this could be a massive like Academy hit. For
Two very different movies.
Very different.
Couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Although when you think about it, I mean, Frank is a story of. I mean, Frank himself is a very broken person, and you can see
similar like emotional character arcs. They're both about like a broken person.
He's trapped in a head.
Oh god,
not quite a room.
That reached though.
But yeah, I was gonna say in a lot of movies where you see someone gets kidnapped and whatever, like. They wouldn't have shown a lot of what they... It's hard to say without getting into spoilers, but they wouldn't have shown a lot of things that they showed in the second half of the movie in other movies, They wouldn't have shown a lot of that. And I think, that's one of the reasons why I thought it kind of dragged, where, normally you don't see all that kind of... all those scenes that you see. It's so tough to talk about without spoiling it.
Yeah, this is like the weirdest movie to talk about without
literally
spoiling.
Everything you can say is a potential spoiler.
Yeah. I think with that... Overall, I liked it. Let's move on into spoilers. Let's give our ratings first.
This puppy.
I'm going to start then. I'm going to give this movie 4 to 5. 4 to 5 reels. Light 4 to 5 reels.
A lot of love for room here.
Light 4 to 5 reels. Just like I said, I enjoyed it. It just didn't grab me as much. But Tim, over to you.
Heavy 4.
Heavy 4.
Heavy 4 reels.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Tyler, how would you rate Room?
Let me just preface this. If you go below 3, I'm literally going to kick you in the balls.
Holy shit, I can't believe someone loved it.
Wow.
Get ready.
I'm giving this a light 3.
Son of a bitch.
Light 3.
Yeah.
Ruthless.
And I feel like I can justify that.
You sure it's not a heavy 2?
I feel like you can't.
I was toying with that. I was toying with that. No, I'm going with the light 3.
You can't open with I dislike the movie and then give it.
No, it doesn't mean that I didn't.
A light 3.
No, I think that there was more they could have done with this. Like don't get me wrong. Like, this was a very emotional movie, and
Well, we know you don't do emotion.
And you know what? In this movie,
you felt.
I felt. At the end of this movie, I was
Dem feels.
I got a spoiler. We'll get there, but it's not that I didn't hate this movie. It's just that I think that I wanted more from it.
Something was missing for you. Adam, over to you.
I don't disagree. There is some stuff that was left to be desired for me, because like there was a part of this movie coming in where even though it's extremely small, there was actually hype, because I think it has like 90% of Rotten Tomatoes, or
96.
in the 90s, 96 critic rating.
Yes.
Holy shit! There you go. And wins Best Picture at TIFF. It's getting all this Oscar buzz. So I was like, kind of sitting down, like, okay, this movie is going to be amazing. It's hard to go into something with that much hype, but yeah, I definitely really enjoyed it. I wouldn't guarantee Oscar nomination now that I've seen it, which is insane.
Which is bizarre
of me.
It's such a stacked year. It's tough.
Yeah, but no, I truly enjoyed it. I'd give it a heavy 3.
Heavy 3.
Like I was planning on giving it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. So if that better context for you, heavy 3. Sorry, Tim. Is that good enough?
No, it's not.
It's not heavy enough.
I love it. Oh wow, this is insane. Tim loves it. He bets against it. I bet for it, and I didn't absolutely love it.
Wow.
Well, I think with that, we'll move on to spoilers. So if you do want to avoid any spoilers for Room, if you do want to check it out,
don't watch the trailer.
But you can.
Let's do that first.
The trailer was nonsense.
But if you don't want to be spoiled, then skip ahead to our news topics. But let's get into spoilers ourselves. Any scenes we want to talk about? Anything we want to elaborate on that we talked about earlier, Tim?
Much elaboration.
So much to talk about. Holy shit!
Tyler, elaborate, and then we'll go off that.
Okay, because in this movie, you know that she is upset. You know she's dealing with all these problems in her head, but they decide not to vocalize any of these things, like how she's actually feeling. There's actually a point where she goes, where like the two of them, it's what's her face? What's the mom's name? Sorry, I can never remember.
Joan Allen plays.
Joan Allen and Brie Larson. They're arguing while her son's playing with Lego. They're arguing. He goes, "You don't know how I feel. You know what I'm going through." He goes, "No, I don't." So there's a point where they're about to talk about how she feels, and then fucking nothing. And they never. And then her suicide attempt. They don't explain how she feels about that. There's so much that they didn't say that it just pisses me off.
I disagree
Tim's
completely.
Losing his mind.
Because the fact is that she got kidnapped at 17, right in that angry teenage stage, and she's gone for 7 years. She's got to protect herself. She has to protect her kid. And when she finally gets home to the safe place, she regresses back to that 17-year-old angry kid. So much so that her room looks identical. So she's back right where she was 7 years ago. And what happens when your mom is bitching you out about not speaking your feelings? You lash out and you yell at your mom. Be like, that's how she would have acted when she was 17.
No, see, I get that, but I actually wanted to know
how
she was actually
that's
feeling.
The reason that she's not doing it is because she's regressed back to that
angry,
feeling.
angsty teen.
Angry, angsty teen is she's regressed back to that,
and that's totally understandable. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't have a scene with her and the doctor explaining how she feels, they don't actually.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Where
she's not going to want to talk about her
she's
feelings.
This angry.
She's
essentially just angry teenager.
I wanted. They gave to me. They gave
more.
They didn't give enough character depth to me.
Well, that's another thing for me. Sorry if I just jump in. You were saying earlier that you thought this was Brie Larson's. It was about her.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this movie was more about Jacob Tremblay's character, about him growing and finding out more, exploring the world, and seeing it through his eyes.
And they didn't give much of his character. They didn't show him they showed him being upset. Then maybe playing with toys and then playing outside, but they didn't actually show him vocalizing how he felt at all. There was.
Yeah, they did. He had narration the whole time.
I feel sad. You want that?
No, I wanted
he did say that at one point.
I felt disconnected from the characters.
Okay. Should I just wanted to say for the listeners so we should she does get out of the room. Should we go through that scene? I thought that scene was amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up first. First of all, they have the Moneyball score playing, which is amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Moneyball score.
The same score.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I love the score.
Yeah.
That
song
didn't even realize.
When he's carrying
the Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, the Brad Pitt movie. So when he's carrying when the kidnapper
Old Nick
is carrying He's carrying Jack with him inside the carpet. He's bringing him out to the truck, and they have like that song playing. That's the Moneyball song, and that scene was so intense.
I loved that scene.
Like I was asking guys earlier if your theater was really chatty. That scene in particular, people from like 5 rows up, I could hear him be like, "Oh my god, just jump! Oh my god, to do it!" Fuck, it was one of the best movie going experiences I've had. The crowd was so into it.
I will agree. This movie did get me very excited. Like, there were a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate this movie. Like, it was an emotional joyride for me. Like, I did enjoy the emotional roller coaster of this movie. But I wanted more from it. Like,
just didn't do it for you.
And another thing with Old Nick. Like, who was this guy? Why did he kidnap her? Why is he keeping her in a shed, like literally spending money to keep her alive?
See, I don't want to know these things.
Why?
That's not the point.
That's also one thing that I mentioned earlier about how, Lenny Abramson didn't do it the traditional way that you would have seen it. It would have been like, more like I think of
like Prisoners. Like Prisoners is like a straight up like that's straight up about the mystery of like someone's trying to solve the mystery of them being kidnapped. That's not what this movie is. It's the emotional drama of that happening.
Like we're not the lead actor in this isn't a police officer trying to find her.
Yeah.
No, I
it's
understand.
The kid and the mother, and seeing it through their eyes. It's the same. Like they don't know who Old Nick is. They only know that they only calling him Old Nick, for example.
Yeah, it's not his name, right?
That's obviously not his name, and they don't know like if they caught him or not, or like what. I don't even know if that was resolved, but
he does get caught. Yeah,
he does get caught.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like a huge thing.
No, they just watch it on TV and they're just like, oh, okay.
Well, I want to point out about the escape scene. Cinematography in that scene is amazing.
Yeah.
Brie Larson, she formulates the plan that she's going to say Jack died overnight and wrap him up in a carpet, and then when Old Nick is driving him to like bury the body, Jack's going to escape. So like the camera goes inside this rolled up carpet, and you're just kind of seeing through the POV of Jack, and it was just amazing. And you like gets picked up and you're walking with Old Nick and then put in the trunk, and then Jack kind of squirms his way out, and just the shot of his face as like his facial expression when he sees the sky for the first time.
Amazing.
Like this is the first time you've seen like a sunny blue sky.
He's like lying on his back looking up in the sky,
and you can just see it in his eyes like a child for the first time experiencing this. It was just amazing. It was beautiful, and the score like kicks in with it, and then it shows the shot of the sky, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then the intensity of like, oh my god, is he gonna get away? Like, and he jumps over the side of the truck and hurts his leg, and you're like, oh my god, he's done for.
And, like, Old Nick like grabs him, and
yeah, that was like an amazing, like it added a great punch of like suspense to the movie, because it was a bit of a slow burn, even though it was also like, I was gonna say, very like traumatic, like to watch them go through this, like where she's just being like routinely like raped, like every day, I guess, pretty much, right?
I don't know if it was every day
or whatever. Routine. It was routine.
Yeah.
And then
she had it. Her like alarm went off, and then the door would open.
Oh god, that's so gross. And like Jack has to go into the closet and hide.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, I think for me, it was Jack's story, because I feel like as a viewer, you're Jack. Because like,
I agree with that. You spent more alone time with Jack than you did with
Brie Larson.
And that's true. Yeah,
because like he's obviously a child, so he's constantly asking Brie Larson what's happening in this world, and he's like the viewer. He's giving the answer to the viewer of like, what are the rules of this world, right? In room, like she's saying, oh, Old Nick's coming at this time, you got to go in your closet. So she's telling the viewer like, okay, he's coming to rape her or whatever. And then like she's constantly telling Jack, this and this, and it's like exposition to the viewer, but it's done in a clever way because it's a child. Obviously things need to be explained to him, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a clever way.
And also, how great was that scene when she finally, the police obviously find the shed.
That was just heartthrobbing. Right?
And then when she's running out,
Timmy teared up on that one.
Yeah. Oh, that was
the most emotional scene for sure.
Holy shit,
in that movie.
Yeah, like I haven't gotten misty-eyed in a movie like that since, well, probably Inside Out this year.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Let's be very honest. But like a real life person drama. Yeah. Not cartoons.
Not a Pixar.
A real life person drama.
Yeah.
Side note: Inside Out. I'm blanking on the name of the imaginary friend. Bongo or
something.
I don't remember.
Why?
I
That scene.
literally cried.
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out. There's a scene.
God.
I literally bawled.
Well,
I
Alright,
did not.
back to room.
I'd like to make that clear.
A couple points about the room itself. Super detailed,
Tell me
first
yeah.
of all. I love like just the little details, like the knife that she's allowed to use to cut the bread and stuff doesn't have a point on it,
yeah.
right? That's a conscious thing by Old Nick, so like she can't stab him, right?
Amazing. I didn't even notice, but
Right?
that's amazing.
And then the
yeah.
way it's shot, it like when they're doing the track practice, he's running back and forth. I thought it was a different room for a sec. Like the room
shoot from
feels
every
the
angle.
room feels
Yeah.
so big when they're just in the room itself. Like it feels like it's a couple different rooms. Like I thought the bathroom was like a separate little area. It's
Yeah.
not. But then when they
Really?
go back
It's
to
like a prison
revisit
cell
it at the end, it's incredibly small. Like you see just how close the wardrobe
The way
is
they
to the
shot it
bed,
at the
right?
end.
Like you never see the bed and wardrobe in the same shot in like the original movie. Like you see a shot of the wardrobe, you see a shot of the bed, you think it's like, oh, it's probably like 10 feet away from. No, the bed's like a foot away from the wardrobe. It's like so close, and the way they shoot at the end is like you just see how small this
How
garden shed
stark
was.
a living.
Yeah, like I thought it was like a
experience was.
basement or something. Like when they came out into like a garden shed, I was like, shit, this is just a little
And
10x8 garden shed.
if you think about it, that scene is a great metaphor because it's showing you this was Jack's entire world. So it was this giant, vast, complex
Exactly,
world.
just like Jack said in the movie. He's like the
Yeah.
room went from one end to the other. It never stopped.
yeah,
Right?
it never
it was
stopped.
just like
And then he goes out and experiences real life in the real world and comes back and realizes it's just a
little-
10-foot room.
yeah,
Or like 5-foot
Yeah.
room, whatever it is, like a prison
His
cell.
entire life has changed,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and I thought, just talking about, like we talked about when Brie Larson's character, Joy,
Yeah.
Joy,
when she gets back home trying to, deal with, like, say her parents who, obviously your whole life, your parents teach you about life. And then she comes home and she's seen unspeakable horrors that, like, her mom will never understand.
Mm-hmm.
And she even says, like, you'll never understand what we went through. And she's like, well, help me understand. And it's just, like, the reality that there's no
What
words.
can you possibly say? Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no words that are going to help her mom understand being abducted for 7 years, right?
Like raped, like weekly, daily, who knows?
I just thought that was really poignant, like, interesting stuff to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, how many movies deal with that? It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you guys notice? I mean, I know, Tim, you mentioned that it was set in Toronto earlier.
it's not set; it's filmed in Toronto.
Right.
Set in Ohio.
Right.
I found that a little distracting
How
because as
jarring
Canadians,
was that? As a Torontonian,
yeah,
how jarring is that? Where I was sitting in the theater and I leaned over to you, Adam. I was like, "That's Toronto. This is shot in Toronto."
Yeah.
There's a scene when they go to the hospital. I recognize that hospital and that view of the Don Valley Parkway,
yeah.
of the Bloor Viaduct, the
Yeah.
bridge. I was like, "That's Bridgepoint Hospital."
In
Toronto.
here's the funny
There's
thing.
Nathan Phillips Square at the end.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Apache Burger.
Yeah.
I go to Toronto maybe like a handful of times a year. So I wouldn't see like all these memorable streets and like I wouldn't know any of that. And so as soon as we leave the theater, Scott goes, "You know what just really grinds my gears is when they show all these like classic streets of Toronto and they expect us to not think that it's Toronto because we know it's Toronto. Like, we've seen these streets." And it's like, I don't think I've ever recognized a street anywhere except for Resident Evil when in the background you see the pizza of Yonge Street and that's it.
There's a lot of more scenes in Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's shot at like
Yeah,
City Hall.
City
Yeah.
Hall.
Yeah.
That's
That entire-
City.
yeah.
Raccoon City is Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so like it's
That's
just
another,
Scott
that's
was
another
just
story altogether.
Scott was just super fired up.
It took
about
me out of
that.
it because, like,
I agreed with Scott.
when I saw it, I was like, "Wow, this is this set in Toronto?"
I know.
And then all of a sudden, I see them pull up with an Ohio license plate. I'm like, "Oh my god, they did it! They
Yeah.
did it!" But then it makes sense.
Think of everyone else though, right? Like,
Not that it makes sense, but maybe it just doesn't make sense that there would be like a person who would kidnap someone and rape them for 7 years in Toronto.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a very Canadian thing. It seems like something
That's
Ohio,
so
someone in
Canada,
Ohio
eh?
would do. It just seems like weird, the choice to do that.
to
Wasn't
keep
that a
them in
big-
your maple syrup warehouse, man.
Is that French?
I don't-
Like, tell me myself. I was gonna say, wasn't that a huge news story with the girl who was kidnapped by her neighbor forever in Cleveland, Ohio? I'm pretty sure it was.
Was that in Cleveland? Because
Yeah,
I know
you
that.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was a real thing.
I could have swore that was in Cleveland. So
This
I'm
is
sure
based off
is,
a
like,
book.
loosely based. Yeah.
by Emma Donahue, and she said it's based off a case in Austria.
Oh,
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was
Right, like
European.
loosely based. Like the case in Austria was like a father who like kept one of his daughters in the basement for like so long, and then like raped her and stuff, and then she had kids, and he raised those kids as his kids instead.
I think I heard about this.
Yeah.
So she toned it down a lot for this one.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the author, I believe she also wrote the screenplay for this.
Yes.
I know it's in the credits,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I was to hit a negative. I did feel like it was written like a novel. Like all of Jack's dialogue just sounded like he was reading from a novel. And same with Brie Larson. I found like when they were in the room, it was just very.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounded they were talking like they were written. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like
It's written for
Jack, room. There's like this rule and this rule in room, and they were just like very like kind of cutesy with like. But I guess she is talking to her son, so she's gonna talk.
It's talking to a 5-year-old
cutesy.
that doesn't know what the outside world is.
In that sense, it kind of reminded me of like Z for Zachariah, which I watched this year, starring Margot Robbie and Chiwetel Ejiofor and Chris Pine. Like that was a book that they turned into a film.
Mhm.
Like that felt like book dialogue.
Yeah.
That whole movie.
That's how I feel.
That whole
about
thing
this
that
one.
happened with The Counselor too, that Cormac McCarthy wrote. It's not
Right.
based off a book, but apparently the dialogue in that is like so like just
Overwritten?
overly written. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can get away with stuff in a book you can't get away with in a movie.
It's just
sure.
a completely different medium, obviously.
Yeah,
Like in the
yeah.
book, you have the right to explain everything.
Yeah.
And in a movie, there's so much more visual you can do. So when you see someone that's like over-explaining stuff, you're like, well, you probably don't need to do that.
And we just touched on I guess we should mention the old Nick, I guess, is obviously the father of Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. How fucked, to borrow a Scott line, is it when William H. Macy is just like disgusted by little Jack and
Yeah.
like doesn't want anything to do with them? I was like, whoa. Most likable guy ever, William H. Macy, is just coming off like a
Scumbag.
prick right now.
That kind
Scumbag.
And that didn't go
something
where.
that-
We didn't see him
yeah.
after that.
That's the thing. That's something
He
else that kind of
left.
bugged me. Was like, Dad, look at my son. No, fine. Picks up the son, leaves. William H. Macy gone for the rest of the movie. Like that was it.
I was shocked. I didn't even realize William H. Macy was in this movie until he showed up in the
Yeah, I saw him walking through the door. I was
Yeah.
like, is that William H. Macy?
I was like,
He looked
William H.
old.
Macy's in this.
Well, in the preview, like you see him like for like a half a second hugging someone, and it's just like, oh, we can't go back. We can't see it. I guess it might have been William H. Macy. I don't know.
I never saw the preview. Wow, that's
It was
crazy.
nothing to it.
I'm pretty sure we watched the trailer, but alright.
No, not me.
Not memorable.
Did they reveal that she escapes the room in the trailer?
Yeah.
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 Really?
Yeah.
Like they showed her like hugging her
Interesting.
parents and everything.
Yeah.
Like, wow, she got out, eh? Wow, that's, a
That's
surprise.
really stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
it is half the movie.
That's
So-
weird. I don't know.
Anything else we want to mention before we move on here?
I feel like I didn't justify my answer well. Like I
Yeah, because I explained away everything that you had a problem with.
no.
Get
Kill
laid.
yourself. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
See ya.
I'm gonna end it with this. I connected with this movie on a couple of different emotional levels, and when
And
I
for that, you're punishing it.
no, I'm just saying after. Not fuck all you guys.
Punish it.
No, it's just I connected with this on certain parts, and then I just feel like this movie didn't do those emotions justice. It's
You heard it here.
it's hard to
Tyler
explain.
Switowski.
No,
Wow. Beautifully articulated.
it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain.
No.
Quote, Tyler Switowski.
I also thought it
You
was
know what's
like
also hard to explain? Being locked up for 7 years.
full circle.
They wrote a book about it.
Oh god. They made a movie about it,
Yeah.
Tim.
Oh, sorry,
That
guys.
didn't explain it apparently.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing. Like, it was really, I found it like really ironic and interesting how Brie Larson is obviously losing her mind, trying to deal with like the aftermath of being locked up in the room, and the whole movie Jack is just kind of like living his life, and he's more accepting and like moving on from it. It's just funny that like a child supposed to be innocent, and you think like, oh my god, how could a child possibly deal with that? Can deal with it, and like an adult is supposed to be mature and more wise.
Is
It's like
struggling more with it.
Yeah.
the one becoming the child,
Basically.
and Jack is becoming the
Like
mature
she's
adult.
regressing.
And
like
he's
I said.
progressing, like Tim said. Genius.
Wow. Sorry, Ty.
No, hey, you know what?
No, you
I
hate-
need someone to go into the comments and tell me that I'm not batshit crazy. because this movie, the emotions.
I think that's a trend. Is that a trend?
But Tyler being batshit crazy?
Yeah.
It's not a trend. That's certified.
Every episode.
Yeah.
Guys, I swear to
Go
God,
in the
I'm
comments,
not crazy.
please. Tell me I'm not crazy.
Someone, please.
You're not.
I think with that, I mean, before we move on into news, we do have a segment that we do every so often.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Entitled Tim's Bits.
Okay.
You've all been waiting for it. In honor of Room, Tim, what will you do for us today?
Tommy Wiseau? Tommy Wiseau. Johnny.
Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau.
He knows it well.
The Room.
Not Room, The Room.
The Room. I haven't seen this movie.
Perfect.
So my impression will be my impression of Scott and Tyler doing their impressions of this.
Perfect.
Classic.
I just gotta get my throat ready. It's just me yelling. I'm not gonna be able to do this.
Tim,
Do it.
I hate to break it to you, that's all your impressions.
What?
That's all
Nothing.
you.
Guys, I'm doing so well.
I listen back to these every week and I think they're amazing.
They are.
They're amazing.
Okay, here we go. Tommy Wiseau, The Room. You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
Yes. Love it.
Perfect.
Love it.
Moving on.
best one.
Awesome. The Room. Check it out.
Amazing inflection.
I think with that, we'll move on to our news topics this week. And today we're going to talk about Doug Liman joining Gambit Picture. What do you guys think about this? Do you think Doug Liman is a good fit to direct? He, of course, directed Edge of Tomorrow. He also did a couple Bourne films.
One Bourne film.
Like Scott said, a single Bourne film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, he produced.
Yeah, he produced it.
Ultimatum.
Yeah.
My mistake. Tim, let's start with you then. What do you think about Doug Liman directing Gambit?
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not super hyped for Gambit to begin with.
Ooh, ruthless.
I don't think he needs his own movie. Like, I love Gambit. Like, I think he's a great character, but I don't think he really needs his own movie.
Yeah,
I just would rather have seen him in the X-Men universe, like, 7 movies ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to do
X-Men
it,
Origins?
yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Again, why would I see that movie?
Of course, sorry.
Right.
Taylor
But-
Kitsch done.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, Born Identity is really good. Love Edge of Tomorrow. So, cool.
He's hot right now, coming off at Edge Tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm on
So
board.
hot right now.
Tyler.
Hansel is so hot right now. I am on board.
You are on board.
And because Edge of Tomorrow was like a really
Unique.
it was very unique in the way it was shot. They had a lot of like sci-fi, like not necessarily sci-fi, but like a lot of psychedelic aspects to it. The way it was shot, where they went go see it. I'm not going to spoil it, but there are aspects to Edge of Tomorrow that I enjoyed that I think that could be carried over, at least in style, to the Gambit movie.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a good choice. Like I said, he's hot right now, and
So hot right now.
Coming off Edge of Tomorrow, I think it's a good fit to get someone who directed a surprise. I mean, I feel like Edge of Tomorrow is going to be like a cult hit movie. Like, it didn't do that great critically or box office wise. I mean,
but everyone you talk
people
to,
liked it.
Yeah.
People liked it, but it didn't do that great.
Yeah.
The word of
I mean,
mouth is insane.
I can get,
Yeah.
I can look back at the actual box office numbers, but as far as I know, it didn't do that great.
Critically, it did well, but box office wise, it didn't do
like
a whole lot.
I think it went on, like, because the amazing word of mouth, it went on after a long
Make a
time
little
to
bit of
eventually
money.
make its money back. Like, eventually, like, worldwide. Like,
but it
over
should
a
have
long
been.
time.
It should have been like a huge movie.
Bombed
It has a
over
90 on
weekend.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow, like
Damn.
fantastic.
What, sorry?
It deserves it.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, but it has what rating, sorry?
The 90.
90.
90.
So I mean, that's great. I think it deserves that. And I think if he can give an interesting spin on the Gambit character, then great. Because I honestly don't really care about the Gambit movie right now. The fact that Liman is going to be joining the project, that's getting me a little bit more excited. But overall, I mean, it's just not doing much for me. So hopefully, him joining the project can help it get it to the next level. Hopefully, Adam, your thoughts on Doug Liman joining Gambit?
I like Doug Liman. I don't love him.
He's had hits and misses for sure.
He's hit and miss for me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the little Hayden Christensen classic called Jumper.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. So, yeah, that one was rough. But
That's the Hayden Christensen.
I'm aware that
Bruce
movie
Willis one?
exists, yes.
I don't know.
I'm thinking of Looper.
You think of
That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, not Hayden Christensen.
Okay, which one was Bruce Willis?
Looper.
Okay.
With
The good one.
Joseph
I
Gordon-Levitt.
think you've blended the two in your mind.
Okay, so just so you know, I haven't seen either of them, but continue.
Perfect.
Add that to your list, you fuck.
Anyways,
Every week.
but, I like Swingers. I like Born Identity. I like a lot of his movies. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and
Right, he did do that.
but love Edge of Tomorrow. I think he's a good enough fit. I think Born Identity is a movie people forget that he's done. I think that could translate almost directly to Gambit, kind of the one man on a mission, kind of one man wrecking crew action film. And
I'm on board.
His writing is clever and funny too. Like Swingers and Edge of Tomorrow was like very unexpectedly funny.
Edge of Tomorrow was really funny. Like, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. Gambit's like a one-liner kind of.
For sure. That's his game.
Badass, like witty guy.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I loved Gambit in the animated series growing up. So
I liked him as a character.
I don't know a ton about him, but he's always been like the cool guy.
I don't know if he can hold a movie on his own, but
that's the thing.
Yeah.
We saw Taylor Kitsch do it, and
Oof.
you didn't. Well, I know Adam did not like it, but I didn't mind him doing this. So I'm worried as to what Channing Tatum can bring to the board.
I've heard a lot of people didn't mind Taylor Kitsch in that movie.
I really
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like him, to be honest, but I hear all
I liked
the
his
time.
accent. I liked he.
Really?
Yeah, I think he did really well with it. So I'm just wondering, can Channing Tatum double this? Can he
if he can do it, I mean, coming off of movies like Foxcatcher, where he can actually prove that he can act.
He's not just getting naked and dancing.
Yeah,
Correct,
I mean for me, I mean he's sort of Channing Tatum. At least at least he's tried to do Foxcatcher.
Yeah,
and I feel like he succeeded with that.
Okay,
but then he's still doing those other ones like the 21 Jump Street.
I know him from 21 Jump Street, Magic Mike, his cameo and. This is the end.
God.
So these are the roles.
Legendary cameo.
These are the roles that I know him from. So that kind of worries me.
his ass pretty well.
I do.
Magic Mike. This is the end.
Yeah, and I can tell you he digs.
Looks alright in leather.
Yeah. So
one thing I will point out that I find a little distracting: X-Men Origins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Kitsch plays Gambit. Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. That movie's been retconned out of existence, right?
Yeah.
Yet Ryan Reynolds comes back as Deadpool in 2016. Yet they recast Taylor Kitsch with Channing Tatum in 2016, and just
no, that's fair.
I think I was trying to.
They're not. Hopefully, they're not going to bring back Will.i.am. I don't even know who he's.
Holy shit! Let's pray, Scott. Yeah, I just that.
That's all. Because the
find
X-Men
that
series is really
annoying.
strict on timelines and stuff.
Yeah, they've literally
True.
never messed it up.
Never
ever.
retconned their movies before.
Really odd.
I was gonna say, how Gambit isn't a huge character. He's a likable character in the comics, and people, he's sort of, a well-liked kind of anti-hero type character.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah, fan favorite, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
But it's similar in a way. A lot of the Marvel characters, they weren't huge. Like Iron Man. Right now, when we think Iron Man, that's whoa, huge.
Yeah.
But Iron Man
when it
came
first came out, I mean, that was
Preach.
not.
Yeah.
Preach.
He was not a huge charcharacter.
No.
My cousin
nobody
Justin,
knew who Iron
this
Man
one's for
was.
you. I had this conversation with him, and he thought I was batshit crazy. He's like, Iron. Why do you think it had such a great opening weekend? Why do you think people rushed to see it? He's the A-list, most well-known Marvel character there is.
He's not.
Oh.
I'm like, you've never been more wrong, sir.
Clearly, Spider-Man.
One of the biggest Iron Man fans, and I will tell you that I had barely heard of Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. came onto this the movie.
You guys want to know where my first experience with Iron Man was? Tony Hawk Underground.
Yes.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? He was an unlockable character.
Yeah.
That's how I didn't even. I was like, who's Iron Man? I guess he's like a superhero.
I don't
or
mean to
something?
be a hipster. I always loved Iron Man from the Marvel Avengers cartoons and stuff growing up.
Yeah.
He was always probably my favorite.
But someone who never watched the
How weird
TV,
is
who
that?
never watched the cartoons or read the comic books.
Yeah, I understood that he was not a well-known character. That's
Yeah.
I was baffled when my cousin was trying to tell me he's huge.
So what my point is that he took over that character. Oh my god,
Robert Downey Jr.?
Robert Downey Jr.
Wow.
He embodied Tony
almost-
Stark.
Wow.
I can't believe I almost forgot
You
that.
just almost killed me right there.
He's not a big guy.
Fuck you.
For some reason, I kept thinking William H. Macy. For some reason,
Holy
I kept my mind.
shit.
kept
Imagine
going
that.
to
That would
Robert
be
Downey
amazing.
Jr.
I'm
William
nervous.
H. Macy. Imagine William H. Macy playing Tony Stark.
Nope.
But no, like he embodied that character. He made it his own.
Yes.
You know, and it's the same with like Hugh Jackman making it Wolverine his own character and
Chris Pratt, Star-Lord.
Chris Pratt, Star-Lord. And if Channing Tatum can make Gambit his own and bring something new to the table and bring something interesting, then maybe it can elevate it to above just being Gambit just being a fan favorite to being a huge.
We also
Iron
have
Man
to
worked, obviously.
Exactly.
We also have to remember though that this isn't being backed by Disney, which all the successful Marvel movies have been. This is being backed by Fox, who did Origins and who did Fantastic Four. So we got to keep that in mind. We can get super hyped about this, but at the same time, it could be a total fucking train wreck.
You have to remember, like, they're a lot more careful with their X-Men properties than they are Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's true.
They go willy-nilly on those movies.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Great.
Juggernaut, money-wise, critically beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Same with First Class.
I was going to say X-Men First Class. Like, they're scorching.
I'm just saying I'm nervous about it.
That's fair. And Deadpool looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll move on into our next news topic, and that is.
So, how do we feel with Doug Liman?
Yes.
Overall, I think
Good. Right?
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Cautiously optimistic. Let's move on to our next news topic. Keeping it genre here, Neill Blomkamp is apparently going to be doing a time travel film, which, quote, will be a sci-fi time travel procedural. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's based on an upcoming book that has yet to be released.
That's crazy. How did he swing that?
Right? I don't even fully understand.
Movies get commissioned before they even
They're approving
For the book?
Yeah.
They're approving a movie about a book
It's not out
that hasn't been finished
Released.
I mean, I'm
It hasn't
sure
been released.
yet. It hasn't been released yet,
I'm sure they've read it. I'm sure they've got like a pre-copy of it.
and that's enough.
Obviously
That's
they
enough
have.
to put millions
They've
into
read
this.
your manuscript or something.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not an executive.
I mean-
I wish I was.
A little cell phone game called Angry Birds was enough to put $1 million movie together. I'm sure
A little peg, grid game called Battleship. That was turned into a movie.
Funny story.
And those are great.
Starring Taylor Kitsch.
I saw a few
Liam Neeson.
minutes of that the other night.
Battleship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
seen it-
fantastic.
Oh gosh.
I've seen
Gotta
a few minutes
say,
myself.
want to see it.
Brianna?
I'm sorry, what did you
What,
say?
I'm kidding.
what an actress.
You-
I'm
Battleship.
kidding.
You watched it?
I saw a few minutes of it. And
As someone who's seen the whole thing, don't.
What's the name of this book? Do you know?
I don't know.
The Gone World.
Well,
The Gone World.
The Gone World. I assume.
Neil Blomkamp. What do you
the
guys think?
Well, I was just gonna say, I assume like to your parallel with Angry Birds. I assume the Gone World doesn't have like over 1 billion downloads, the way Angry Birds does.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like an unknown book
Yeah.
by some author,
Yeah. Fuck.
unreleased. Crazy.
Fuck.
It's really good they're putting all this money into this.
You know what? I want to jump in here real quick because Neil Blomkamp, I mean, I haven't seen Chappie, so I can't attest to that. But as far as I know, all of his ideas for movies, like, he's come up with them himself. And I like, even though he is dipping back into sci-fi, he is doing sci-fi again. He's not trying to do anything else. He's sticking to what he knows. But at least this time, he's taking using material that someone else has written and someone else has started, and he's not just losing himself in his mind and just going back into what he feels comfortable with. So I like that it's something that someone else has written. So, I mean, I like that.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's what I've been saying since Elysium, that he needs to get away from writing his own stories. I think he got lucky and hit it out of the park with District 9, and he should go to someone else to write his stories, because visually he's amazing. I haven't seen Chappie, but by all accounts it's a flaming turd.
The movies have done critically worse each time.
I was going to say, each movie's been a step back. Like, District 9 masterpiece.
And it's always the script too. The script's always the problem each time. Like,
It's just the same
Elysium
story.
was
It feels
like
like
a weaker
the same
script.
story.
Yeah, Elysium felt like almost the same movie as District 9, like setting wise and everything. The same with Chappie.
And you have to remember
Chappie
too,
feels like the
District 9, I don't know if you guys know this, there almost wasn't a script. The 90% of the dialogue was improv. He literally set up storyboards as a script. Like, Sholto Copley comes from an improv background. I don't know if you guys know this, but he's like, they said he was like he was on the Whose Line Is It Anyways of South Africa.
Really?
Yeah, he's like
Amazing.
Really?
oh, he's like the Robin Williams of South Africa. He's like an improv master. And
Wow.
what's his name? I just said Blomkamp. Can't
Neill
pronounce his
Blomkamp.
name. He worked with them on that show, so like they were buddies. And yeah, District 9 was literally, he was like, what if I could do improv comedy, but with like this big epic sci-fi backdrop?
This explains so much.
Yeah, there's almost, like, you should look it up. He said, like, there's almost no script for District 9. It's like Kirby
So he's
Enthusiasm.
like George Lucas, basically.
Ruthless, but okay. That's one.
No dialogue,
One parallel.
awful dialogue, but good at visuals. Tyler, thoughts on Neill Blomkamp?
Yes.
You've seen one of his movies,
Okay.
right?
I've seen a trailer. So
Oh my
we'll
God.
see.
Wait, have you seen District
I've seen
9?
District 9.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. that's
I've
fine.
seen
Thank God.
District 9.
Have you seen Elysium?
I haven't.
Okay.
It's on my list.
You're not missing much.
Okay,
Thank
so
God.
I'm good with District 9. I should judge base this movie off District 9 then.
Yes.
I would watch Elysium. I liked Elysium, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Elysium, but it's not amazing.
It's a
District 9 is
it's a
amazing.
light 3.
I agree.
It's at least a 3.5 for me.
Really? Because I gave Room a light 3 and you almost castrated me.
It's totally different.
Because he's saying Room is amazing in his opinion. That's what he's saying. Elysium's not.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Get right.
My point just fell apart. If this is anything like District 9, I'll be on board.
Okay.
Because I thought that was
I agree.
just
If it's amazing, I'm on board.
gorgeously shot. If this is going to do well, I'll watch it.
All right.
I think we know
Yeah.
Sholto Copley's in it. Can we?
He has to be.
He's got to be.
He's
Like-
got to be.
Blomkamp doesn't do a movie without him, apparently.
Literally.
Will it be in South Africa?
I hope it's not. I hope
Me
it's
too.
set in like Oslo, Norway, or something on the opposite side
Wow.
of the opposite
Very
side of the world.
specific.
Yeah.
It's the capital.
That works.
Get wrecked.
Yeah.
Overall,
I hope it's set in Oslo, Norway, also.
again, like, you know, we don't know much about this. We don't know cast. Obviously, I mean, we're assuming Charlotte Copley. Maybe we'll get some more D. Antwoord in there. You know, you guys know who that is?
I know who it is. Yeah,
Facepalm.
I'm
Facepalm.
speechless, Scott. Because Chappie worked out well for them.
Again, like, you know, well, it remains to be seen. When we know more about this movie, we'll let you guys know. But as for right now,
I like the idea of him doing a time travel movie.
I'm always interested to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's very good visually, but
I would have preferred his Alien 5.
Ridley
But
fucked us
Old
on
man
that
Ridley decides Prometheus 2 is what the fans want.
yeah, I mean, we should mention. I mean, one of the reasons why he would be moving forward with this is because Ridley Scott wants to do Prometheus movies, so he's pushing back
Just frozen.
Blomkamp, who was originally slated to do Alien 5. Is it?
Not only is he not only is he doing a Prometheus 2, he's labeled it Alien. A couple different titles now. It's currently Alien Covenant. So like, I think he's trying to like reclaim the Alien series, and he's like, Bloom, like, thanks for stepping in for a sector, but I got this.
I got this. You're right. He did kind of do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, he could have called it like Prometheus 2 and just let Blomkamp do his Alien 5 still, but he's like, no.
It's kind of like one of those things. Oh, you're doing well. Okay, here, let me take the wheel, kind of thing.
Like Ridley Scott has said recently in his comments too, I should never have let the franchise get away from me, and I'm going to make sure it doesn't ever again. So I just realized now that you've said that to him, he's like subliminally dissing Blomkamp. Like, no, son, that's my toy. You put that down. I'll take that.
I feel like, you know, Ridley Scott was like okay with letting go. Like he justified to himself. He's like, you know what? It's time to step away. Let someone else take the reins. Up and coming director Neill Blomkamp going to come in, do Alien 5. You know, let him do that. You know, I'm going to do like, you know, there's other movies. You know, I got to do Blade Runner. You know, maybe I'll get someone else to do that too. But he had other projects on his mind, and he decided, you know, let's let Neill Blomkamp come in. And then when he finally gave it away, and Blomkamp starts working on it, it's like he had regret. He just instantly regretted. He's like, oh man, I want Alien back. I want to do Prometheus 2 again. I want to, you know what? Let's call it Alien. Let's just call it Alien now. Let's just change the names. Like, it's crazy. But
Ruthless.
I think we'll move on to our next topic here, and that is Aqua-man Rewrites going on here. David Johnson has come in to rewrite some scripts here on Aquaman. What do you guys think of this? Directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa, the upcoming Aquaman DC flick. Does this bode well for you guys, rewrites, or is this just a normal thing for you? Tim?
Despite the fact that I hate Tyler's guts right now for the room, me and him see eye to eye on DC, and this is again 10 steps back. Like, what do you? You're DC, you're a giant company, and you're getting the guy who wrote fucking Wrath of the Titans to like touch up your script.
Classic case of shitting the bed.
He's the type of guy that you have someone come in and touch up the script that he wrote. You don't get him to like touch up scripts. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We get those awesome Wonder Woman pics of Chris Pine and the other guy like on set, clearly a period piece. They're doing something different and creative with that, and then they got this guy coming in and touching Aquaman.
So what you're saying is you don't like the dialogue in Wrath of the Titans?
Again, I haven't seen it. Why would I have seen that movie?
Get wrecked. So you haven't seen it?
Okay, no, I just assume it's terrible. Like it's
not great.
I have seen both Clash and Wrath of the Titans.
Of course you have.
I know. It's me.
So
I was already not excited about Aquaman in any way. Just because, first of all, he sounds like a shitty superhero. But besides the point, the fact that they're having this guy come in with Wrath of the Titans, having, you know, the huge benchmark that it made, let's have this guy come in and do some writing on it.
By benchmark, you mean benchmark of shit?
Yeah, they left a shitty, like, yeah.
You know what? As funny, you know, I just agreed with you there, but I disagree with you.
Now I'm just confused.
I don't understand it, because, honestly, it makes sense for me. You know, this guy obviously is a friend of James Wan, who did The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's doing rewrites on Conjuring 2. He's writing Conjuring 2. Sorry, not rewrite. He's writing Conjuring 2. So, you know, he's friends with him. Obviously, there's a working relationship there. But also, the Aquaman movie is going to be like, you know, it's going to be like a, you know, it's like a medieval. I'm trying to think of the word. It's almost medieval. Like it's an ancient civilization like Atlantis. It's like, you know, sword and sandal kind of thing. It fits with Wrath of the Titans. Like, it seems similar to me.
And I can understand that if Wrath of the Titans had been a better movie.
He also wrote Red Riding Hood, the Amanda Seyfried movie hit from 2011.
An Orphan.
Which is not bad, actually. Orphan's okay.
If Wrath of the Titans had been better, then I'd be excited about him coming on and helping to write. But it wasn't. So for me, it's just like, you're making whatever you had worse.
Yeah, honestly, like, I say that it kind of makes sense from that perspective. Like, Wrath of the Titans, like Sword and Sandal, like, you get someone to come in from that kind of mythological movie to come in to do Aquaman. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like a good fit, but then when you list off those movies,
not impressive.
I mean, they could have got someone with a little bit higher pedigree.
Yeah.
You know? Adam, your thoughts there?
I'm just like, I agree with you. Like, what the fuck? Where do you, like, how... I just don't... Warner Brothers...
That's the best sentence ever.
I don't... What?
What are you doing? Who's in charge? Like, are you... You just see Wrath of the Titans on the guy's resume. That's the biggest movie he's done. Yeah, let's bring him in for Aquaman. Like, arguably our most important movie to... Like, it's...
Yeah, the movies
are
already
one to fail.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like their Thor. It's like their...
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's already such an underdog of a movie.
Yeah,
and they fucked it.
And just, you know, this is the defense of DC saying this.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say Kenneth Branagh said Thor was probably the most important Marvel movie because if the fans bought the Thor movie, they were good from there. Mm-hmm. Like you said, coming into it, Aquaman's their DC's biggest underdog. So why not try to put it in position to succeed? They got a good director, James Wan. Still a questionable fit, but we know he's a talented director. That's not even arguable.
No.
Like, I think he's a good director, right?
Yeah.
But just a weird fit. I mean, I
think
think
Jason Momoa, who hasn't really proven himself quite yet as a leading man.
No.
Like, he did...
But potential, though.
Conan.
Lots of potential.
Yeah.
He, in...
The pics are there. They look amazing.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones, like he showed
pecs are there.
the potential. Yeah. The pecs are there. The pics are there.
Pics of pecs.
He's jacked.
Yeah.
I think I said this before. If they can do Game of Thrones underwater,
I'm in. Yeah,
I'm in.
For sure.
Like, let's go. Or even Thor underwater.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Like, I just want to see Atlantis, honestly.
I feel like whatever I was feeling for Aquaman has just been brought down a couple pegs now, which was low. As
How could
was.
it not be?
Yeah.
Wrath of Titans writer joins Aquaman.
Yeah, like
what a fucking.
Like, not even the first one.
Yeah.
Sequel.
Yeah.
It's not encouraging.
No.
It's not like Aaron Sorkin joins DC to rewrite Aquaman.
The title of that article wrote itself. Like,
really snippy.
Right?
Like
They could have swung for the fences and got someone with like a bit of a higher pedigree there.
They've already got Jesse Eisenberg. Bring in Sorkin with them. Fuck it. Yeah. I was gonna say.
yeah, so not hype.
Not hype.
Well,
Yeah.
save it for next week.
Get bodied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Remains to be seen. Again, I mean, it is just rewrites. I mean, he might have been working with a base that was already, and he was just kind of cleaning up a couple things. But again,
So they're cleaning up with this.
What can he clean up?
They're cleaning up with shit.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like when you spill
How do you
like
polish
milk on
a
the
turd?
ground and you try wiping it up with like pop.
Like,
You're just making a bigger mess at this
You
point.
can't polish a turd. I think
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
saying.
it's like
Yeah.
imagine you spill something on the floor and you're using a broom made out of shit to clean it up.
What a team they have going there.
I say you can't
We
polish
should
a
write it.
turd. They proved that correct on Mythbusters. You can actually polish a turd.
Well, clearly David
Oh,
Leslie
into that little
Johnson is
ball?
going to prove it.
I didn't remember that. Okay.
A shiny brown
Yeah.
ball of turd
Yeah, I remember that.
was shining.
Anywho.
And with that will do it for episode 20 of the
It's a
Up
metaphor
Real
for
Late
this podcast.
podcast.
We are a glorified polished turd.
Wow. You can follow us on Twitter at UpRealLate, and you can find myself on Letterboxd, UpRealTim, real with two E's like a fishing reel.
Like a film reel, you mean?
No,
Tyler.
not fishing reel. I review fishing movies only.
Okay.
Mads Mikkelsen hit the nail on the head.
So you can find us on Facebook at Up Real Late Podcast, as well as on Instagram at Up Real Late Podcast. You can also find me on Twitter at Mogi6, MOGEY6, as well as on Letterboxd, Up Real Ty, TYE.
Adam.
You can find me on Twitter at Franey25. That's FRANEY 25, and on Letterboxd, Upreal Adam, real like fishing reel.
Thank you.
And yeah, you can
No
find
problem, Tim.
me, Scott, on Twitter at S_Ellis71. And you can find me on Letterboxd at UpRealScott. So yeah, keep it real, guys.